Welcome to my hardcore Minecraft journey, where today we are thrown straight into the abyss of hardcore Minecraft. Come with me as we build a starter base, battle the wilderness, and forge our first gear. Now get ready, because this is hardcore. Alright, here we go. This is an interesting spawn. I will say I do like it, though. There's coal immediately up here, so let's go harness the power of coal before it dies off. But we're going to start off with the classic Minecraft start of beating my fists into a tree. Here we go. Boom. Crafting table? I heard a skeleton. The most dangerous thing in this world at the moment is a skeleton. As soon as I acquired this crafting table, I immediately set off to create my first wooden tool, which I would immediately throw away as I got stone. Once I had stone, I could immediately upgrade this pickaxe into a stone pickaxe. Once I had that, I could get more stone to make an axe and a sword. Next, I set out on the journey to find my starter base location, which inevitably would be a very cool location. Now, as I was trying to find stuff, I stumbled upon some sheep which would allow me to get my very first bed. And as soon as I was done killing those sheep, I stumbled upon this shipwreck, which I think is a very unique location that not many people discover in their very first days. I immediately set out to dig out all the interior of this shipwreck, making sure to preserve all the natural woodworking and the masterpiece that this ship is. I also made sure to keep an eye out for any precious materials hiding away in a chest. Now, they were quite hard to find, but eventually I found them all. Where are these chests? There's one. What do we get? Do we get diamonds before we get iron? Nope. But we get carrots and we get moss. Here we go. Maybe this one will get me diamonds. No, it gets... That's brutal. And there's another chest. Perfect. Iron. I immediately used this iron to create my very first iron pickaxe. I then had my very first night sleep in this world, and then I was back into the mines, trying to mine for some more iron and coal. Now, the ship did have a treasure map, which I set out to find, and it was very tricky, but eventually I found it way down deep. Aha! It did fall down? That's crazy. Well, got our first diamonds. Immediately, these diamonds were put to use, going back into the mines to get myself a full set of diamond armor. Well, with that one little bit of mining, where we went down one strip, all used up all of our torches, we got 21 diamonds, which is pretty good, and should get us the rest of our diamond armor. Chest plate. Legs. Boots. Give me the helmet. Bink, bink, bink. They took 0 damage, and we're replacing them. Full diamond armor, baby. I was then on a quest to get an enchanting table when... Wow. That is possibly the loudest thunder strike I have ever heard. And I am down in the mines. I'm at the lowest possible Y value, and I heard that. That's crazy, you guys. That was so loud. Here's number 3, right there, and number 4, and... Holy cow. I want to go up to this storm. My boat's probably on fire and burned up by now. Yep, it's definitely gone. Look at the rain. Holy cow. Once I had finished up watching the storm, I moved on to creating my enchanting setup, which I had the enchantment table for, but I still needed the leather for the books. And I decided to make myself a pen for both sheep and cows to complete this task of getting the bookshelves set up. My own little sheepies, bringing some sheep past, don't mind me. Bah. See, my Minecraft instincts tell me pickaxe is always the first enchant. But hardcore, if you're dead, you ain't getting that pickaxe, so... If I get efficiency, it's gonna make getting XP so much faster. And if I'm just going for coal, alright, we're going pickaxe. Please, something good. I'll take it. Once I had my enchanting set up, I needed to get levels, so off to the nether I went. The big, bad nether. It's not so scary, right? Nope. This is terrible. Terrible spawn. Give myself a little box here, though. Okay. This is actually a terrible spawn. Where do I go? There's no quartz around here. How am I supposed to find quartz? This might be dangerous. We're gonna bridge up here. The bed wars is paying off. Akin speed bridge. Hello, hello, don't mind me. Just getting some XP. Don't mind me. Yes, yes. Different biome, safe biome. I knew we were going the right direction. Levels. I'm just gonna become a mole, a little mole. Mole man. Now that I have XP, let me go ahead and enchant some of my armor. And you know, this is actually probably gonna take a while, so what if I get some villagers instead? Come on, up. Oh, I just gotta... Aha! I just gotta jump. Too, sir. You. Yep, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Come here. Fly. Well, this is easier than all other past methods of transporting them. Moments after building an enclosure for the villagers, I realized that, well, the green one was a nitwit. I gotta go back and get a whole nother villager now. Ugh. Once I guaranteed that the villager I was grabbing wasn't a nitwit and could actually breed with the other ones, it was off to the races with getting enchantments and going through the process over and over again of the fun lectern spam we all love. Now that I have all my armor and tools fully enchanted, it means I can start building the starter base. Now, one of the resources that I need is mangrove wood, and this is going to be quite a journey to get, as I'm pretty sure it's about 4,000 to 5,000 blocks away. This is not going to be fun. Back with the mangrove propagules, and unfortunately before this place gets prettier, it's gonna get uglier. So Let's figure out exactly where I want to plant these, because I think I'm just gonna put them over here in the water. One. You can't plant them in water, I guess. Okay, we take down this tree. And we take down this tree. This is a decent spot, I suppose. There we go. And not only do we need the mangrove wood for our build, we actually need the leaves as well. Now, another big thing that we actually need is moss. And I don't think I have any. Let me make sure. Moss, any moss? Moss. I do have moss, never mind. In that case, let's set up an auto composting thing so that I can farm out some moss, because I need a couple thousand. And look at that. We have a working moss farm, which hopefully will then collect the about 1,400 moss that we're going to need much faster than I could manually. So I'm going to let this run for 10-15 minutes and we'll see how much moss I have. Along with moss, I needed a whole bunch of other materials, from birch wood to birch leaves to stone to deep slate, all the way up to smithing tables. Why I have those, don't know, but I need them, so enjoy a quick montage. Crazy how I get all the resources for the starter base right at day 100. Day 100. Took me about 50 days to collect all the resources. It could have been done in about 20 days if I had done it the correct way and just built a couple of farms. But instead, to collect all the iron, I went over here, and this is how I killed all the golem, or this is how I got my iron. I'd come over here and I'd go like this, wait for him, and I would manually kill him all by myself. And I had to get around 6 stacks of iron that way. Here's all the resources I need. It's in 5 double chests. I feel like it should be more than this because it's around 14,000 blocks, but this is it. Yeah, it's a lot of stone material because the actual build is maybe 50% of it. Now, a quick little interruption here before we continue on to the build. If you've made it this far in the video and you have enjoyed, I would really appreciate it if you would consider liking and subscribing because it helps the channel a ton and it really helps me grow. But without further ado, welcome to the Harbor Master's Tower. Now that we have the actual exterior for the build done, I want to start doing some of the interior. And I think it's best that I start with the storage room floor, because I can then bring over all my resources, have my resources in the build while I continue the build, just making it so I have less travel, less resources needed to get back and forth. Now, the way I want to do this is, obviously this is for the Harbor Master, and his storage room is going to be quite messy. It's only one guy. He's kind of that guy who keeps his room messy, but he knows exactly where everything is. And so, the way I want to do it is, I'm going to have two walls that are mainly for storage per se. One of those walls is more decorational, but it's still functional. And then the other one will be much more of that bulk storage, more functional for a typical Minecraft storage room. Now, it's all going to be messy and it's all going to blend together, but it's just a little bit more efficient in one place and a little less efficient in the other. So on one side, I'm going to have more of these bookshelves because he has a lot of files and paperwork that he has to store, and these bookshelves work perfectly for that. So that's why one side has more than the other here. And then this side right under the staircase, it's a little bit more central, so I think that's probably the more efficient one to have with the bulk storage of chests. Now, I'm also going to add a little bit of height and variance to this, so later on I will add a chandelier to the build. I'm going to add a ladder somewhere in here, just to kind of make it a little bit more efficient. I'll add a little bit of sectioning off with trapdoors and whatnot, and I'm actually struggling quite a bit to figure out how to fit chests in here because they need to have empty space above them. But in order for it to look kind of messy, there has to be a lot of stuff stacked on top of each other. So it makes it a little bit more tricky here, but that's a fun problem to kind of go about and solve. Now, the chests and the bookshelves and the barrels all kind of look the same color. So I want to add bits of color to pop through the build with trapdoors. It's not that much color, but it's just a little bit of orange. It does make it a little bit difficult to kind of space it out because they take up a full block, and like I said, you need to have those full blocks filled to make it look messy. But that's a problem for later. Now, along with using copper to kind of add some stuff in, we're going to add some other utility stuff like a boat or a minecart or a lectern here or there, just to kind of spice up the color. Along with this, I'm going to have a specific wall full of color, kind of like an accent wall you would have in your house. And since this is a harbor master, it has to do with the harbor and water. And thinking about it, a lot of color in harbors come from not necessarily the boats or the dock or anything, but the buoys and the dive flags and the moorings that are in the harbor. And obviously he's gonna have some of these, he's the harbor master. How he ends up with them, I'm not exactly sure. But he ends up with these buoys and moorings and dive flags. And so I decided to make an entire wall full of just these flags. And then along this, he's gonna have some of his personal knickknacks lying around the room somewhere. Maybe he doesn't have room in his room for storage. Maybe he doesn't have storage out on the harbor. Who knows why he has this stuff here, but he has his stuff here. So overall, that's kind of the vibe I'm going for with this, and here's the storage room. Now that we have completed the storage area and the storage floor, I think it's time we move on to the bedroom and the rest of the tower, as this needs quite a lot of upgrades. May I welcome you to the Harbor Master's Tower. Let's head on inside. As you walk in, there's a nice red carpet for you to walk up to the Harbor Master's desk and sign your rights away to him, where he will then store your files inevitably in this massive bookshelf of storage files. It's getting kinda ruined by these Christmas chests, but it'll look better once these are gone. Then we can head upstairs into the observatory level. This is where he does all of his research on the lake and the harbor. As you can see here, this is a telescopic view out of his telescope, which is linked up by remote control into here, and this shows you kind of what you're looking at out in the harbor. Over here is a little replica of some of the pirates that he has come across in the bay and that he's had to defend against. Here's his table for all of his paperwork and meetings. Over here is a nice map of the harbor, which is nowhere close to complete. Over here, you got a rain gauge, so you can see the rain level and how it's affecting the harbor. And then over here is a little water measure, which measures the quality of the water and the makeup of the contents. As you can see, It's mostly water and sand and a couple of minerals down here. Next, we head up into the storage level. This is where he stores all of his paperwork, his files, anything that has to do with the harbor, and a lot more. Over on this wall you have buoys, mooring, a couple of dive flags, and over on this side you got a map of the harbor and the surrounding area, a couple of his old little dinghies, some treasures he's found, and just overall a whole bunch of files. Again, this will look a lot better once the Christmas chests are gone, but for the moment we have those. Lastly, we head up to the top level, which is the harbor master's bedroom, which you have his nice bed. He is pretty rich. He does manage the whole harbor. Over here, his own personal desk, his own personal scuba diving set if he ever needs to whip that out. It is pretty old as he hasn't used it in a while, but if he needs it, there it is. He's got a little furnace here to keep the room warm, and then his favorite thing are his fish tank. This fish tank is filled with the rare fish that he finds from time to time when he goes out fishing or scuba diving and whatnot, and he keeps them in here. Now it is pretty small, so every once in a while he'll have to return them to the ocean, but he likes keeping the fish that he finds in here. And then he walks out onto his grand view. Now it is falling apart a little bit, as this is degraded by the salt water and the weather that comes through here, but this is a nice little view looking out over the entire harbor for him. And this concludes our tour of the Harbor Master's Tower. With the conclusion of the build of our starter base in the Harbor Master's Tower, that is going to be the end of today's episode, as we near day 150 in Hardcore Minecraft, the longest I have ever made it in Hardcore. Now, we made a ton of progress, but there is still a ton more to do, not only in my progression through armor and equipment, but also through my progression of my builds and the storyline of this world. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you further along in the journey.